what happens. I'm not blaming Governor DeSantis for this. This is just what he walked into. And most people, if you're ignorant of the state constitution, you're just going to fall in line with what the orders have already been.
Yeah.
So I'm not blaming him. I'm not. You want to go?
No.
Okay.
Finish your thought.
So it says here, emergency means any occurrence. Any occurrence. So they can declare an emergency when they want to, if they feel there's a threat at all. Right? It says whether natural, technological, or man-made. I was like, this isn't natural because that's technically considered tornadoes, hurricanes, all that stuff. Isn't technological because that's more, grids, power grids, all that kind of stuff. So the only one that they said and left was man-made, which the Wuhan virus came from China. So I thought, I'm not saying it's man-made. I don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of evidence that says there is. I don't know. But I looked up man-made emergency. This is what they defined it as here in the state of Florida. Listen to this. Means any emergency caused by an action against persons or society, including, but not limited to. Listen to that. Listen to that open-endedness. Including, but it's not limited to. So we don't really know what it is. That's how they confuse you. They say it's law, but they don't have a foundation. You get where I'm going? It says this, but not limited to enemy attack, sabotage, terrorism, civil unrest, or any action impairing the orderly administration of government. It doesn't fit in any other category.
Yeah.
But it's talking about was this Wuhan virus terrorism? No. Was it enemy attack? No. I don't know if China did it maliciously. I don't know if they sent it over here maliciously. We can't prove that. I don't know. Was it sabotage? I don't think the Chinese said, we're going to shut down Florida's economy because I'm just talking about Florida right now, okay? So already this falls under, what does it fall under? Do you see what I mean? Like, what does it fall under? What is it saying? And I'm only leaving it there because I want you to do your own homework. I've read and read and read. And it says in certain provisions, in actually 252.33, it says that the governor can create law and it must be held therein. But he didn't create law. He created an executive order, which is not law because law goes through the legislature, not the governor.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So you got to be careful about what people are saying, what law is and what's not. And when a governor or when a government can tell you that for what they're doing, that they can just pass law arbitrarily, that the state, the governor actually has all the authority and all the power, and the legislator actually says, we've authorized the governor to do this, right? Then you no longer like your Constitution. You've subverted your Constitution. You've violated your oath to that Constitution. And that Constitution gives you the power to be in your position. So if you upend the Constitution, you have no more power. So who gives the power to the governor? The Constitution does. And where does the Constitution come from? Where does the power lie into? If you read Section 4 of the Florida State Constitution, it says the power is laid in the people. Are you hearing me? The people, not a state. Not a government. Governors are supposed to govern, not rule. Do you know what the word govern means? It means to restrain or to restrict. To rule means to overrule or to upend. They're not rulers, they're governors. And they're only supposed to govern themselves as the people are the ones that are free. And they only govern the people if the people become unruly and violate the rights of another. And they break the law. And they break the 10 Commandments, according to William Blackstone. So that's why we started covering this, because this is absolutely asinine to think. And I'm covering this topic, actually, because we talked about this when I was there. And it was our pastor that said, did you know that Martin County, I went to the Martin County Commissioners meeting. Martin County has 161,000 people in Martin County. There's only been 166 confirmed cases of COVID in that county. Now, I looked up flu statistics. You guys can correct me, and please try. I've looked up statistic after statistic after statistic, trying to figure out what flu has done in this county, in Martin County, right? I can't find one statistic from February on. Why did they quit taking statistics on the flu? Did they acknowledge it was COVID now?
Yeah. And I want to add on to that, but first I want to say, as far as this executive order stuff, you have to remember that the law is supposed to be written by the legislature. The governor is just supposed to enact it or put it forward, right? Make sure that it runs. So what the executive order basically does, this emergency powers, gives him the ability to write law with an executive order. And the beautiful part of this is that you get 60 days of this emergency. And if after 60 days, well, you just have to reinstate it.
That's right, you have to reinstate it.
And legislature doesn't even have to vote on that. That's what scares me, is your governor can say, well, 60 days for the emergency. 60 days happen, they pass. Governor goes, no, I want 60 more days.
Yeah.
And the only way for the people to really revolt against that is the legislature has to end up ending the Emergency Act, right? Well, we all know how well legislatures and Congress work, right? Yep. So guaranteed they'll get rid of it tomorrow, of course. No, that's the issue. Is what you're seeing is a conflict of interest and an expanding outside of the jobs. That's why we're so concerned with this idea of emergency powers, emergency acts, executive orders, right? Now, if you can somehow reel it in and give really good definitions to this, we might be a little more cooperative on the whole idea. The problem is this thing is so vague and so open. It gives you carte blanche. It gives you the ability to do whatever you want to do. So now we're talking about, is it even an emergency situation? And we've tried to kind of resist this idea of like calling it a hoax, calling it a super pandemic, calling it this, calling it that. But you could obviously tell both of us kind of land on the side of we think it's a little bit overblown. And what Massey had just pointed out was the idea of flu. And also if you look at pneumonia. Now, if you look at the state statistics, but you also look at the nation statistics, you'll find that it's pretty much empty in terms of flu and pneumonia. Now, I just want to ask you, did we cure the flu and pneumonia?
No.
In February? Like, did we eradicate it from the earth?
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like there's no more real statistic on it.
No.
Like, a matter of fact, I think it was in the Florida Sun and Fox 12, I think it's called. They both did articles on that the flu is way more deadly than the COVID right now. Right, and that was in March 3rd that they did that article.
Which I'm going to go through the stats, but
right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to read you something from James Madison. He wrote this in 1788 in the Federalist number 62. He said this. He said, "If laws become so voluminous that they cannot be read, or so incoherent that they cannot be understood, if they be repealed or revised before they are promulgated, or undergo such incessant changes that no man who knows what the law is today can guess what it will be tomorrow."
Yeah.
He said, if it's so voluminous we can't even understand, we don't even know what it is today or what it's going to be tomorrow. Where's liberty in that?